All right, so my pick for James Bond, ever since Daniel Craig has hung it all up and died as James Bond, apparently, Aaron Taylor Johnson has been offered the role. I have been a huge advocate for Aaron Taylor Johnson to be in this role. Nayan, you are the James Bond guy here. You are the bigger fan for that character and for that franchise. I think you've seen all of them, or at least most of them, at least. All of them. There we go. So, Aaron Taylor Johnson to be the next James Bond. If he were to accept this role, are you for or against?
I am so not against. I am fully for. This is
for Kraven the Hunter as James Bond.
Kraven the Hunter's fucking trash. All right. This is completely different role. This is
Name's seen it.
Yeah, I have. Don't go see it because you'll just waste your time like Madam Web. Even the actors don't go see it. But no, I am fully on board with this. I think he's a fantastic actor. We all know that he has that capabilities as an actor. I mean, just go look at Nocturnal Animals. He is perfect in a serious role. Go look at something like Bullet Train. He's perfect in a goofy role.
Oh,
you know? Like, he can do it all. I think this is a good step for him in regards to playing a character he hasn't quite played yet, if that made any sense. You know, he hasn't really played that sort of suave sort of character yet.
Yep.
Or at least not anything that I have seen. But he definitely has that look to play that character. He definitely has that build. He's young enough as well, so you can definitely squeeze milk at least 3, 4, maybe 5 films out of him due to his age. So yeah, I think he's a fantastic actor. The fact that he's so young means that he can do some of his own stunts if he wishes to. But yeah, this is a good pick. I think he'll be able to capture both, you know, the suave side of James Bond along with the, you know, the 00 agent side as well. In regards to where I want this film to go, I think if they're going to cast Aaron Taylor Johnson, it'll have to be him coming up those ranks. For either first becoming James Bond or just before he gets that 00 title. I think just with the age with him, it'll fit well, at least for the first movie at least, and then the second movie it can be like, you know, how the Batman was his year 2 as Batman, then James Bond 2 would be his like year 1 as 007. But the first one will be him getting that 007 title.
So it shouldn't go the DCEU way of having old James Bond straight from the beginning, right?
Yeah. So I think ideally what I'd like personally is him getting that 00 title, him earning it, you know, and then films after that. At least the film straight after it is him at least 1 year deep into that 00 title, where he's still a little bit naive and still a bit of a rookie, and then obviously, you know, film 2, film 3, film 4, he matures.
And so, yeah, for sure. I mean, for me, man, I'm 100% on board for this. This has been my go-to, I guess, fan cast or pick, whatever you want to call it, to play James Bond. And it's because I believe Aaron Taylor Johnson can bring something a little bit different to James Bond. You know, we have such a picture and an idea of what James Bond is, what he's meant to be. And I think Aaron Taylor Johnson can, you know, portray or like do it in a new way, take it in a little bit new direction, but not so dramatically where people are like, oh, what the fuck is this? This is not James Bond that I know. But he can, it's still, because he's British and stuff, and he's going to have that youth, that explosiveness to him. But I think because of the youth, you can take it in a little bit more, I guess, edgier direction. You can have a little bit more of a, kind of a grizzled, kind of ruthless James Bond, at least for the starting, as he kind of becomes that figure, as you were saying before. But if we started off with Aaron Taylor Johnson's kind of him as an agent becoming James Bond, kind of just being a little bit ruthless, having that edge, just having, I guess, perhaps some trauma in his past where he doesn't trust anyone and he just kind of kills on sight, or something less dramatic than that. I reckon that would be a great way to take the character of James Bond. Obviously, you have to keep some of the core elements to what makes James Bond. Otherwise, it's no longer James Bond. It's too many times I've said James Bond in a row. But you get the picture. Like, you're the big James Bond guy, and I've seen all the Daniel Craig stuff. I've been here and there with the other stuff, and I'm not a big James Bond fan. They don't really interest me as much, but I have loved some of the recent ones that Daniel Craig has done. Do you want the same old James Bond, or is it time they go and are you after something different as a James Bond fan?
Probably something different, I mean, the early eras of James Bond, they're all very similar, the womanizer type character with what they did was that, and they shot nothing like technical about gun handling or anything like that. And I understand that that's not really James Bond's MO, but we did see a little bit of that with Daniel Craig. We saw him both be, that playboy sort of side and also that high technical sort of agent as well. So I'd like a little bit something similar to Daniel Craig's, but just a bit different to that, maybe a bit more, technical, not to the extremes of John Wick in terms of fighting or gun style, but something a little bit more to show that, he can actually have a fight without just being a brawler. Like, he has that technical sort of fighting element.
Combat.
To him.
Yeah, for sure. And what about, I don't know, has any of the James Bond movies been rated R? Or are they all just blurring that line?
I don't know. I think they're all blur. I can't remember if the older ones were or not. If so, they'll be pretty close.
Would you like
from my memory
an Aaron Taylor Johnson James Bond movie?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
well, there we go. I didn't even finish the question, and he wants it. But yeah, no, I honestly think Aaron Taylor Johnson. I think he's the right pick. Is there anyone that you can think of off the top of your head that you would rather than Taylor Johnson?
Not rather, more just in the same lines of him. First names would be Henry Cavill. Obviously, the work he did in Man from U.N.C.L.E. clearly shows he can play that sort of spy type of character.
Hey, wait, you haven't seen Argyle yet, have you?
No, I haven't.
No, you don't want Henry Cavill.
I can't say what I'm about to say. All good. Anyway, Tom Hiddleston, his work in The Night Manager. I know when The Night Manager came out, there was a lot of comments about him.
Yeah.
A lot of comments about him wanting to be James Bond just because his portrayal in The Night Manager was so James Bond-esque. So I think he'll be a good fit. Probably a bit of an older James Bond. Then you also have another popular favourite, which is Taron Egerton. He's young, similar to Aaron Taylor Johnson, a bit younger. So there's a lot more that you can do with him in terms of story-wise and how many amount of films you can have as well. Or, you know what? Did anyone even know Daniel Craig before James Bond? I highly doubt that. So pick someone else random, not a big name, and build up a new star.
What did Daniel Craig do before James Bond? I actually don't know.
Exactly.
Exactly. I mean, okay. Henry Cavill, I don't think he is a good enough actor to do the role. I'm sorry. There's no performance that he's done where I'm like, wow, that's great acting. He's always just been serviceable. Taron Egerton, I love that pick and I love him as an actor, but it's just far too similar to the King's, not the King's Speech, the King's Man, the King's Men.
It's not Colin Farrell, bro.
Yeah, so it's just too similar of a performance there, I feel, where you would just kind of get like a little bit of deja vu, I guess. And Tom Hiddleston, I think he would be great, but I think that opportunity has passed for him. Although I do love those two picks besides Henry Cavill. I think he's just far too obvious of a selection as well.
I think when it comes to anything British, the first two people is Cavill or Egerton. Actually, no, Fassbender. I think Michael Fassbender will be an excellent James Bond.
We did just see him in The Killer. But I mean, I think he might be at the age too where it might be a little bit too late. A little bit too late for that. You know, why don't we just throw a curveball in here and just say Daniel Radcliffe?
Nah, too short.
Little James Bond, man. I'm down for a little James Bond, bro. Like, all the villains would just underestimate who he is and be like, this is your 007? And then he just kills them all instantly. Gone. I would love it.
Isn't that him and like Guns Off in Kimbo or something?
I haven't actually seen that movie. I still want to see that movie. I haven't seen it yet. I mean, but hey, Wolverine, the comic book character, not the movie version. He's like 5'2" or something, isn't he? He's a small fella.
Same height as me.
Yeah, there you go. 5'3".
If I am a short boy.
Yeah, we both are. We're short kings, not boys. Come on, Nayan. All right. So for you guys watching, what do you think about Aaron Taylor Johnson as James Bond? Is he the right fit for this new era of James Bond? People are going all different directions with this new casting. It's turning to a casting kind of announcement that's similar to Fantastic Four in terms of anticipation. I don't know when it's going to happen, but if you guys do agree with Aaron Taylor Johnson as James Bond, be sure to comment below. If you disagree, go down to the comments and say who you would rather have as James Bond, and we can have a chat about that.